Well, Donald Trump and Doge have the DC swamp in a straight up panic. As it turns out, their dismantling of the shadow government and the shadow government's dealing is really, causing some feathers to ruffle by the people in DC. In fact, according to Mark Mitchell with Rasmussen Reports, it turns out that they are seriously Googling internet searches for criminal defense lawyer.
If you search criminal defense attorney, the number one place that's being searched right now is Washington, D.C., by a factor of 3.5 times higher than the next state. And all of those searches started on about January 28th. And that's when the news that Trump was focusing on all of these FBI agents that were going after January 6 people. So here's the thing. It's like all we've seen is accountability being brought, like potential criminal accountability being brought to just the FBI. And already it was enough to boost nationwide searches for criminal defense attorneys.
Gee, I wonder why. It seems they might be a little bit worried about some kind of lawsuit coming down. In fact, on his X page, he actually shared the diagram on this. And this is his X page here. And he says over 3 times more people in DC are Googling criminal defense lawyer than anywhere else in the U.S. And you can see his map there, District of Columbia. It's got 100% there, fully blue all the way. And if you scroll down, there was a commenter there, Tur Deemster, and he says the magnitude is higher today than any time in the past, including during COVID. And you can see 2004, how it was fairly low. And then the COVID years right there, a small spike. And then in DC, all the way up there in just since the past couple of weeks. I mean, this is insane. I mean, are these people in DC a little bit worried about having committed some kind of crime that they need to lawyer up? Did Donald Trump and Doge ruffle some feathers and open a can of worms that wasn't supposed to be opened? And more particularly, this uptick in this search criminal defense lawyer came when Donald Trump was talking about the FBI and getting the names of the FBI people who were specifically involved in the January 6th cases, and bang, they're looking up a criminal lawyer. But here's what's interesting. The reason why could be a couple of things, and I'm going to get into that in a moment, but it wasn't just the term criminal defense lawyer that had a massive spike just as Donald Trump was getting into office. There are other terms. Now, before I get into that, I've got to give a shout out to restrictedrepublic.com. You want to go there. You want to check it out. Hit the pause button. Subscribe right now. Use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. You're missing out if you're not there. As you know, we are censored on these social media platforms. Go there to get the uncensored content. I encourage you to try it out. I'm putting out a huge report on Restricted Republic today, exclusive to that audience. So hope to see you there. But that said, right, there is another term on top of criminal defense lawyer that spiked in DC. And this was uncovered by ZeroHedge.com. And here it is right here. And it says DC internet searches for criminal defense lawyer and RICO law erupt as Doge drains the swamp. It goes on to show what they looked up. And here's Noel Cooking. He says, hey, we should look into some other terms, specifically RICO status. And so Zero Hedge did just that. And here's what they uncovered. You can see Washington, D.C., that blue dot kind of by my head there with that 100% increase. And you could see RICO law, meaning 700% increase. RICO charge, 300% increase. RICO status, 250% increase. What is RICO law? 100%. And RICO case law had an 80% increase. So as you can see, they're a little bit panicked about RICO and RICO laws. In fact, if you're not familiar with what those are, as these DC bureaucrats are becoming very anxious, I'm going to go to Wikipedia and just share the basics on this because, there are liberals listening. And there might be some liberals a little bit worried about DC, but it says Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization Act. That's the RICO Act, right? The Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization Act, RICO Act, is a United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. It goes on. It was signed into law by Richard Nixon. Prosecutors in the 1970s used it to prosecute the mafia, as well as others who were actively engaged in organized crime. In the later years, prosecutors have applied the law more broadly, right? So applied very broadly. Now, under RICO, a person who has committed at least 2 acts of racketeering activity drawn from a list of 35 crimes within a 10-year period can be charged with racketeering. And what is racketeering? More specifically, right? Racketeering is a type of organized crime in which the perpetrators set up a coercive, fraudulent, extraordinary, or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation to repeatedly or consistently collect a profit. Ruh-roh! Sounds like that could be going on at the FBI and other big DC areas. It seems like there's an organized crime network in DC, and they're in a panic that Doge is about to uncover it. If not, then why are all these people Googling and searching RICO? And criminal defense lawyers, right? Now, there could be other reasons why they're doing that. Like one of the reasons is written out here in governmentexecutive.com, govexec.com. And it's Trump fires a third of the employees or blah, blah, blah. But in there, it details why these employees are likely doing this. And it says most federal employees maintain statutory protected rights to appeal firings, layoffs, suspensions, and other adverse actions agencies take against them to MSPB. And MSPB means Merit System Protection Board, right? The matters first go to a regional administrative judge, and agencies or employees can then appeal further to MSPB's central board to determine whether the agency's actions violated any legal prohibitions to the merit-based civil service, right? And they have some kind of 3-member panel that they go through it, yada, 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 yada. In other words, it's harder to fire a federal employee. So some of them are lawyering up to get their job back. Others are searching RICO because they know they've done something wrong. Well, in the meantime, Donald Trump and Doge are doing their job and shrinking our government, which needs to be shrank, needs to be massively shrank. And here's an update. I'm surprised New York Times put it out, but here it is. And it says where Trump, Musk, and Doge have cut federal workers so far. And you can see right in the top here, it says targeted for agency dismantling, about 8,700. DEI workers, about 280 have gone. J6 and Trump investigators, 33. That number needs to get higher, a lot higher. Government watchdogs, 22. Other staffs, 224. Now, there's also agencies that have been targeted, and you could see targeted for agency dismantling. These numbers up here, about 7,000 from USAID, hallelujah, 1,700 from CFPB. And that's, by the way, the baby of Miss Pocahontas. And then we have 4 fired from FEMA, and we all know that's because they were sending money to illegal immigrants when they should not have. Totally going against what Donald Trump called. But that's what we have, and I think that number is going to increase. Meanwhile, the Democrats are losing their support. Yeah, in fact, some of the worst poll numbers of all time. And here it is. Democrat Party handed polling blow on heels of second Trump term. This was just published at the end of January. And it says in this poll released on Wednesday, 31% of voters have a favorable view of the Democrat Party, compared to 57% having an unfavorable view. This is the highest percentage of voters having an unfavorable opinion of the Democrat Party since the poll began asking the question. Wow, Democrats aren't doing so hot. Maybe calling Donald Trump and Elon Musk Nazis and us having a constitutional crisis, which I've heard about a million times, is really getting old with the American people. It didn't work before, yet the mainstream media is still out there. He's a Nazi, constitutional crisis, we're losing all our rights. And they're supporting agencies like USAID, and that's going to be the hill they die on. It ain't doing them no good. 57% of people disapprove of you, one of the worst that you've ever had. And yet they continue. I just say more power to them. Please, Democrats, continue doing what you're doing, because you guys are making our job easy as more people come over to the right side. Had to say that. Anyhow, I love all of you. As a quick reminder, check out my sponsor, LisaHavenGold.com. If you guys haven't yet, you need to. And I really mean you need to, because I full-heartedly believe in what they are doing. And right now, we don't know which way that the stock market can crash, right? Just ask Nvidia, who lost over $600 billion, literally freaking overnight, in an instant, in a second. And that's how some of us have lost money in the past. I mean, we even lost a lot of stuff during the houseless crisis in 2008. I know that I did. It personally infected me. I lost my job and everything. And you guys have been through similar stuff. And you really want to make sure you have some kind of diversification and nest egg. Give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. Let them know Lisa Haven sent you, because right now they are giving away up to 2 of these 5-ounce amazing, beautiful silver coin that you see on the screen here. But you got to mention my name, right? You got to tell them Lisa Haven sent you. And bear none, give them a call and talk to them. They're no hassle. They're not going to hassle you. You want to have your family get ready for a rainy day, because rainy days do come, and so do stock market crashes and everything else without a warning. So check it out there. If you want more information, click that more button. If you're on your cell phone, click the link in the description box below. And by the way, there's always a risk to investing. There's never a guarantee. Anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.